know,
was.
I saw.
I know.
Good morning, everybody, and welcome to this very special edition of Going On Daily. It's November 11th, it's Veterans Day, and we are very excited to have a special guest today. And look who's back.
Look who's back. I'm back again. I missed that intro too, by the way, Becky. That was so fun to jump on. It's been like, what, 8 weeks?
I don't know. Where you been? Where you been?
Traveling, Phoenix, Nashville, everywhere. Phoenix. So now I'm back. Okay. Back in the saddle with you guys.
Back in the saddle. That's right. Yeah. Well, I'll just cut to all the things first so that we can get to our guests. Watch us on Twitch, RI_broadcasting. Check us out on YouTube at Rhode Island Broadcasting, Facebook, RI Broadcasting, and of course, support us on Patreon. Get yourself a mug, some stickers, pins at RI Broadcasting. Okay. Well, first, let's get into, hold on, I lost all of our topics here. Yeah, okay. Let's get into what today means. It's November 11th. This is a very important day, I think, for both American and Canadian history. I think the way that the world is right now, that there seems to be a lot of negativity towards this day, or the respect that it deserves hasn't been given. And I think that's incredibly frustrating and sad. And, it's not a political show, so I can't get into all those details. But, on November 11th, we remember.
Exactly. We do remember. And you know what? I hate to say this, but a lot of people say, you know what? You signed up for this. These veterans today, let's just salute them. I mean, before we even bring anybody on, seriously. What they do every day to keep America safe is amazing. I mean, seriously. But there's so many celebrations today, too. There's parades everywhere, Becky, in our towns. Like the local parade. I have a parade tonight at 7 o'clock in 2 different cities. It's amazing. Something else that's great. I'm going to give a shout out to my dad. He's a veteran in the Army. So props to him and everybody else out there, And what's great about today, I will say, the celebrations, but the restaurants. Every veteran gets to eat so good today. All these restaurants, yes, everything's usually free. 50% off or 100% free. IHOP has pancakes, red, white, and blue pancakes. How about that?
I love it.
Yeah. So, I mean, you got Sheetz, you got all these stores, Wawa, all of them, free hoagies and all that stuff. So veterans, if you're out there, grab something. I mean, this is just a little small token of us saying we love y'all.
Now, Canada's so different than the States. We all know that. Patriotism is not really the thing here in Canada. We're just like,
unless it's hockey, right?
Unless it's hockey. That's right. But it's not the same as in the States. And now we have our services today, our memorials, things like that. But I don't think it's the same way as, it's like the difference between July 4th and July 1st here. Like Canada is exciting. We celebrate, but like July 4th, you guys go mental for it.
Well, the thing is, though, with Americans, we celebrate every holiday big. I mean, seriously, we do. St. Patty's Day, Cinco de Mayo Day, we celebrate it more than the actual country or whatever like that. But today is a special day for, this is one of them days where it's just like you say, you sit back and you say, what these people dedicate their time and their effort. They're not going here to be millionaires. They're going here to serve our country. They have when they sign that piece of paper, and James will tell you about it, there's a possibility they might not come home. That's the risk they take.
And when they
get up every day, I drink my coffee and just chill. They're out there fighting a war, or they're protecting us somewhere. The border could be anywhere. I mean, we got to salute them.
And they're never the same when they come back, at least for the people that I know.
And one thing I will say, I'm going to give a shout out for this, is like the vets do a great job. The VA hospital does a great job, but we need more for the veterans. I say this over and over again in America. We're getting a little bit better, but we need to take care of some veterans. I mean, there's homeless veterans. There's a lot of vets that, they come back, and I don't know, I'm sure James will elaborate on this, but I've known some vets that like they get their arm blown off their leg. They give them like $250,000 and say, good luck, rest of your life. Like,
Oh,
You're
okay.
disabled. You should have more than that, and
Mhm.
some kind of social income coming in all the time. I know you
Mhm.
get a little bit, but it's a sore subject sometimes to talk about. But
Yeah.
let's get to the happy part about Veterans Day. It's about celebrating all these
Yeah.
good groups out there.
Absolutely. Well, why don't we bring your friend in, James
Yes.
Pemberton? I will let you do the official introduction.
Here he is, the one, the only James. This guy's just not a vet. He's a guru when it comes to technology and everything in the staff and recruiting space. Here he is, the one and only. What's up, brother? James is in
How
the
you
house.
doing? Thanks for having me.
Good, man. Good, buddy. So, hey,
Welcome.
happy Vets Day. I just want to, like I said
Well,
before, man, on a text, thank you for your service,
yeah.
brother, and the millions of people out there, buddy. So, I tell you what, let's just jump into it, man. What made you sign up for the service? I mean, you're in high school and
I mean, um, well, basically, I was lost. Really, I was like 19. I got out of high school. I was a D-minus student. Didn't really give a shit about much, other than like I guess I did at some level. But I was 19, invincible, and didn't have a
Mhm.
rhyme or reason, or even like a beacon of some mentor or something that I wanted to be like, or anything. I came home one night, and it's funny. Some of you might laugh. That show, Silk Stockings, back in the day, for whatever reason, that show was on
I
television.
love it, by the way. Time out. I love that freaking show. Lorenzo, come on.
Right? It's like really like yeah. Anyway, so that was on, and then of course a commercial comes on, and it's this Navy commercial, and it's like 1 in the morning, and I just got back from a night out with my friends and stuff, and um, I realized pretty quickly like there's a split in the road for me. Like I realized that I had to leave. Um, or I was going to leave. So like, that's another whole story. But I just realized the decision, and I did. Picked up the phone that night. 2 weeks later, a recruiter calls me back and say, "You still interested?" And I said, "Sure am." 2 weeks later, I was in the Navy.
Wow.
Big
I
time.
went to 2 weeks later. I was in Chicago, like at boot camp. That was in '97.
So, how was boot
So May of
camp?
'97.
Give me tips on boot
Um,
camp, man.
I was it was Navy boot camp isn't like the Marine boot camp. I'll give them that. Like I was never in a Marine boot camp, so I've heard. I didn't think it was
Mhm.
that hard. I was in really good shape when I got there though, so it really didn't affect me there. But what it did do is like snapping to and getting up and being somebody and you had a purpose every day. And it's not necessarily you as a guy next to you. So if you're
Mhm.
slacking, he's sucking because he's got to carry your ass, so to speak. So like
Ooh,
the job's got to get done. So if you're slacking today, that means he's working harder, and he got you. Yeah, everybody's got to pull their weight. That's what it has to happen, and basically that's what it shows. If we're not all working together, it becomes it's problematic.
man,
So
good stuff.
that's basically what they taught us there. Wake you up and get basically shave your head and get you to basically get rid of your old personality, which I totally needed. I needed someone to teach me to grow up and be somebody. No, just being real. That's who I was
Did they get in
then.
your
And then of
face? I got to
course,
ask you real quick. Did they get in your face? Like, you see Full Metal Jacket and all that
oh
kind of stuff.
yeah, yeah. I
That's
mean, they did.
legit.
I didn't get. Yeah, yeah. They get in your face. We got in a room and they made the ceiling sweat one day because the division wasn't working right. So they took all the ship members upstairs and we like basically just PT'd until the walls sweated.
Oh my gosh.
Right, like 8 count bodybuilder. The ceiling had to drip before we were allowed to leave. We're slipping in sweat because we're all just pouring sweat trying to do this thing.
Oh my
So
gosh.
that's all. That was all real. My last, I think the last. I didn't want to leave the group I was in. I'd cracked my foot. So I was like 3 weeks on a broken foot, and they're like, "Pemberton, why are you walking?" I won't even say what he said, but he won't even say what he said. I ain't gonna say it, but I was like, he said, "You better train up." So I just basically had to grit it, and I ended up getting my foot fixed like 3 weeks later when I got to the next destination. But I got meritorious advance out of boot camp for different stuff, and then I got meritorious advance again out of A school for top of my class. Mind you, I was a D-minus student, right? So I wasn't supposed to be doing that stuff. So like I didn't know I had it in my own tank really. But they would took the ASVAB and whatnot, and I became an aviation electronics technician. And then because I was top of my class, I got to select what coast I was going to go for. So I wanted to go West Coast because I was born in Toledo, Ohio, and I wanted to see stuff. But fortunately,
Mhm.
what happened was I got based in Virginia Beach, and I got deployed with a West Coast squadron. So I got to experience Westpacks and med cruises. So I got to see the whole world. I've gone around the entire world, literally. I left Virginia Beach, went to all the way around, just kept going till we got back. So it took 3-4 months, but we got there. I spent like 3 years on the carriers and stuff throughout. But I was an Airedale, so I wasn't a ship's company. So I had the best of both worlds in that regard. But it's really about precision, and like we were working on jets and stuff, so they get why people don't understand military members when they come out. I get it. Well, I was one of them. I get it. We think different, especially if you're an achiever. There's not going to be standards aren't going to be low. They're just not. Standards are high when you start doing stuff like that. So like you start marching a different way, talking a different way, and then people don't understand you necessarily because they weren't indoctrinated. I think everybody should have to serve 2 years.
I totally agree. When you were on tour, James, did you actually interact with like the other countries? You see a lot of military people.
I was pretty fortunate. Like be honest, I was really fortunate. We lost one guy at a night. A pop hit him in the back. I didn't see any of it, so I was very fortunate to never have to experience anything gruesome or horrible. I'm very healthy and very grateful. I said 10 years, but I'm not a wounded vet that feels I'm needing anything or wanting anything. Just be left alone. So I can just build my business. That's it. That's all I want. So I mean, if you can leave me alone to do that, that's it.
Okay, so I got to ask you real quick. You're on the boat. Did you have the fire? I mean, you had the planes. Tell me the experience of that when a plane takes off on a boat, man. You see like the Top Gun and shit like that in movies. How's
that's what I did. I worked on those jets. I mean, that's exactly what I did. I worked on those jets, and I was the final checker. So I would basically, if the pilot or the Rio had any problems, I'd plug up to the jet and basically talk to them and figure out what was going wrong with their aircraft. And then I would have to, things are turning, props are going. Chaos. It's very fast paced. You got to pay attention. You got to be paying attention because the jet can turn at any time and blow you off the side if you're not being careful. Luckily I didn't get to experience much of that. We had a solid crew and we I guess trained well because I didn't have to go through a bunch of that. My job when we were out to sea in the Gulf was very much when it was back here, just fixing jets and making them fly. I didn't get shot at, didn't get blown up. I didn't have to experience that, thank God. And for those that do, hats off to you. That wasn't me, but grateful for that, but it wasn't me. That being said, I did fix those jets. And when they were going off, we had to, plug them up and then, give them the thumbs up. And I was the final checker. So right before that jet nails down on the catapult, I was the guy that would check the jet over to make sure it was safe for flight. And they'd fly off and they'd go down the runway to, whatever, you feel the exhaust and all that. And it's 110 degrees in the Gulf and your boots I had one day my boots were like melting to the flight deck. Just because it was so hot and like the rubber on my sole was like, it's like, what in the world? Look down on my boot was literally melting to the flight deck.
Wow.
So just stuff like that. And you endure that. And that'll breed a lot of character.
Yeah.
I mean,
hell yeah.
It's not a very pleasant situation. You're sweating. You got a roll up float coat on. You're in full camo gear. I mean, you got a turtleneck on. It's 110 degrees out. You got a camo back on. I mean, it's hot. So yeah, I mean, it's, but again, in terms of like, like, I don't know, I'm just grateful. I don't ever want to disrespect people that actually saw live fire or something. So I'm just like, that wasn't me. But I did my job. So hopefully it took care of a bunch of them. So
I got to ask you, so when the planes take off and you're the last one to give the thumbs up, is there like a high in this, James? I mean, is this like you, I mean,
oh, sure.
I mean,
it's all about getting the job done. And
it's you versus the pilot, you and the pilot together. I mean, seriously, at the end of the day,
it's obviously a team effort. The whole thing's a team effort. I mean, it just is. Like the whole thing is, that's why everybody's got to do their job. It's not acceptable not to do your job. I mean, it just isn't. Like, do your job. That's all you have to do here. Just that easy. Your job. I mean, that's it. And then of course that's helped me when I got out of the Navy, because that's really like one of the reasons I can run my company and things like that and do things and pull things together. Largely those experiences. I don't scare easy. I keep building. I know we can. We were working on $70 million jets. We had like 10 of them. I mean, they trusted me with that a long time ago. I think I can handle the computer.
Oh, I think you can too, of course. I got to ask, all joking aside, like, so here we go. So you're in the military and you come home. I really want to decipher into this right now real quick. So you come home, what goes on in your mind? Because a lot of military people, they get out and they're like, oh, what's next? You're used to this team and all these people are
that was
by yourself now.
Yeah, that was the number one thing I missed. The same thing I was trying to build my own company again, is figure out how to put the right people in the right places so we can work like a well-oiled machine instead of having frustration and all this other stuff that ensues. But largely just like they all taught all your team members to play a certain way. So it was easier when you had into there to deal with folks that know their job because they were been expected to do it and there's accountability. There is no like, oh, but what happened? There is no excuses acceptable. They tell you your wife didn't come in your sea bag. Like, you manage your shit.
Mm-hmm.
Like, that's it. Like, there is no excuse acceptable for not showing up and not doing your job. It just isn't. And you'll pay the consequences if you don't. And that's what accountability looks like. And so, like, and one thing that is different that I definitely experienced in the military, the people, the officers, if they even lacked an ounce of integrity, they're removed instantly.
Oh.
Wouldn't it be nice? Wouldn't it be nice?
Wow, there's no joking around. Nice. If you don't do your job, you're done. You're out of here.
No, it's just like if once they can't expect you to do it, you're done. You're like, there is no second. You're done. You're retiring. You're done. So it doesn't seem to be that way in most of the rest of the world, but it's in what I experienced in the military. So I have different expectations how leadership's supposed to act because that's what I got. They had integrity. They show up. You didn't have to wonder. They're going to be there.
Mm-hmm.
Escort you off, right, Becky? See ya. You're off the boat.
Yeah,
goodbye.
right.
We're flying you back home. Get your ass out of here.
Yeah. So the deployments were cool. Man, that was the best time in the Navy. I got to go. Australia, Singapore, Malaysia. Let's see, Italy, Spain, Turkey, Bahrain, Dubai, Philippines.
Man, you got to see it all.
Amazing.
Okay, so
I got to see
you have a good story, James. Give me a good story. I know you have
more than a few. I mean,
give me a couple good ones that will pop up and that like, wow.
Well, I'll give you the one that actually shaped me the most. I think I was 19 and I was walking around in the hangar, and one of my supervisors at the time gave me a job, and I really didn't know what the heck I was doing. I was walking around, I just was lost. I walked in, said, I just finally said, okay, I'm gonna go tell him I don't know what the hell I'm doing. So I walk in there and he goes, oh, you haven't been trained. I said, yeah, that's it. Because I wanted my excuse. Yeah, that's right. It's your fault, not my fault. It's your fault. Right. So yeah, I haven't been trained. Right. So he gives me the training. He's like, okay, you need your OJT. Like, okay, no problem. And he hands me this form and he says, now I need you to go to these work centers and get it all signed off now so you can get trained. I was like, okay, no problem. Yeah, I'll do it. On the top of the form, it says ID 10T. So if you spell that on the form, it says idiot.
Oh,
and I was literally walking in the work centers and I felt this big because I didn't have an idea or a thought for myself. So that moment, like literally, I will never enter a situation that I won't have, even if it's a bad idea, it's better than no idea. So like, at least I'm putting this to work. Resourcefulness, being helpless and hopeless is not that killed that day. I felt this big and it never happened to me another time in my life. That was, and that supervisor is still a dear friend of mine. We still hang out. So yeah.
He got you.
The last time it won't ever happen. Like, I'll have a stupid idea before I'll have no idea.
Do you think that's character building though, or like traumatizing? Yeah. I always wonder with military, is it traumatizing though? Okay.
I mean, whatever it is, it worked. I don't think it's necessarily, I'm just saying whatever it is, it worked on me, whatever it did. Mm-hmm. And that is what happens. And yeah. That's just basically it. That's what it was. But it was great because I never was that guy again. And believe me, it shaped me a lot. So trauma, I guess if I was going to be shaped, I'd rather be straight to steel than a weak ass.
That's fair.
So I guess, just being honest.
I'll never forget that now. If anybody puts that on top of a sheet, do not.
Yeah. And it was funny because when you first look at it, it looked like a legitimate form that was going to go get signed off. And then I get in the first work center and they're all cracking jokes and laughing. And I remember realizing what had actually happened. And I'm like, and then of course, from that point forward, I just ended up realizing, start using your head to be resourceful. Being resourceful doesn't mean you have the resources. It just means you're going to find them. Right? It doesn't mean you have to have them. And so I realized, like, okay, how do I figure this out? So everything I do now is it's interesting. Even all the business stuff I do with my recruitment business and all the stuff that I work on now revolves around that same kind of method. I always have ideas to fix something wherever, no matter what it is, I'll figure it out.
So you highly recommend this for people to go to the service. I mean, you got to break it down, James.
Do I
mean,
recommend it? I don't know that I didn't want my daughters going to the service. No thanks. No thanks. But I think at the same time, I can see how a couple of years for a lot of people could shape them in a better way. And maybe it is traumatizing. Some of them need to toughen up.
I think in today's day and age, a lot of people would benefit from it because, I mean, certainly, I don't want to just blame younger generation. That's not it at all. But a lot of people feel very entitled lately. They feel like they deserve more than they've earned. And there's also not a lot of patriotism left, I think, as an outsider.
Definitely not.
No,
certainly in Canada.
People burning flags and shit like that. It's like, come on, really? You live in the land of the free. I mean, really?
Like in Canada, I was telling before, like patriotism is just not it. So to have that military culture, it's just like non-existent here. There are people who join the military, but it's not looked at the same way. Like here, it's like, ooh, military guys.
I think the other thing the military did for me was allow me to realize like how much I was capable of doing, or at least give me a better expectation of myself, because they put me in these situations that I would have never been in ever without that, of course. And it gave me a different perspective of what I could do and who I could base the things I potentially could achieve. Just because it put you in you're flying by the seat of your pants, you're flying everywhere, you're doing all this stuff. I mean, you're again, you're not. I don't know if most people even stretch their legs because they just start taking it easy instead of figuring out, hey, how fast can I run? Because they never get the opportunity or someone to push them. So like, did it traumatize me? I know, but it pushed me to be better. Yeah. So maybe it did. Right. Maybe it did. And
I think
maybe that was a good thing or a bad thing. I don't know.
Some of the conditions, like I dated a military guy before I got married. And he was telling me just, they'd hop on a plane, just fly from here to Poland. And they would just be sitting in this, like, it was like a bar with like a net in the plane. And then like they get there and it's snowy and they're like, okay, like put on your parachute, you're diving in. And it's like, these are not conditions. Yeah, he was a jumper. That was a job. But like, I just think like the conditions, like these are not for the faint of heart by any means. Like I couldn't handle that. Like I can barely sit on a regular airplane.
There's plenty of other jobs for those people. Like they give you a test to figure out who you are and what you want. And they give you some options. So when they gave me the options, I thought about what could I do with it once I left after. I thought it was going to be 4 years. So I was like, okay, aviation. Okay, that's probably a transferable skill somewhere. It sounds like a plan. So that's all I thought about when I got there. Then I read a book halfway through and it scrambled that whole plan. So that's how I became an entrepreneur. And you did that thing called reading and it changed my life. So like, unbelievable. Yes, I read that. Rich Dad Poor Dad's the book, if you're curious, but it changed my perspective on so much, where I was thinking like $5,000 a month was like, wow. And then of course, wow, that's so the mindset on that changed so much just by reading a book. And then of course that led me down so many more paths that was just more, but again, that's us good at sales and just doing it. You show me the play. That's what we did in the military, and you show me the play. We just did it and execute, just do it.
Okay, James. So the big question is, brother, you get out of the military. Let's just give a plug for your company too. So you come out and you're starting a company again. So what made you do that? Was it some of the military and the discipline? Said, I'm going to start my own.
Yeah, I mean, also, I guess, part of that. And I read the books and I realized that I had the grit and the belief to just do it. Because it's not easy at all. Anybody that's in real business, if you haven't gotten kicked in the face, you're not even doing it right. I mean, you haven't even tried hard enough then. Because that's just the reality of it, I think. Because you're going to slip. You're going to make a mistake. If you're planning to win, you're going to take one. You're just going to.
I'll second that motion, brother.
Yeah, you're just going to take
one. Over and over again.
And then it determines how you get up and if you're going to get up. Some people say, oh, I don't like that. And they go back to comfort zone. And they go back. Some people say, I took the lesson. Let me go back and go again. Well, I'm always that guy. I'll take the lesson and go again. Take the lesson and go again. We ain't quitting on nothing. We're going to keep on learning and keep on going. And that's just that's my mentality on things. Now I get bored in a job like that. So I recognized pretty quickly if I was going to have the things I wanted in life, that I was going to have to take responsibility for that, not a demand of some employer telling them how much I'm worth. How about I just go be worth that? And so I figured the best way for me to do that was to build a company, and my recruitment company. And I'm starting to help other people because I learned how to do search engine optimization. I learned how to do, all this database and AI agents and things that help me support my recruitment agency, because I see a big shift coming in the market. And these AI agents aren't going anywhere. They're going to revolutionize things. It's not going to get rid of the A players that adjust. It's going to get rid of those that don't adjust. And plenty of them are still asleep, and I can't believe it. But it is what it is, and that's why I'm helping those, just because they want to learn all that stuff. It took 10 years of learning SEO and all this stuff. No one wants to do that. They just want to go faster. Let's make more placements. So that's really what I'm designing my company around, is taking care of the tech for those recruiters that still want to just close deals and help them. We leverage their working genius, and so in fact, today, and at 11, I'm meeting with the first 4 that I'm putting through. All of them are a certain type of working genius, and they will be horrible at prospecting. They'll be horrible at all the right things and great at all the right things. And they're super excited because all they get to do is make deals now. And that's all they love doing. And they like to hearing people talk and discern and helping them figure out. I'm going to teach them how to write their own content and things like this, so they can really tap into their market. But that's how I think the reshaping of what a recruiter does in 2025 going to look a lot more like what we're doing here: content creation, like blog writing, using LinkedIn newsletters. I mean, just a different way. It's not going to be this pounding on the phone and cold email for life. I mean, some of it'll still work, but you're going to get eaten up.
The cutting edge right there for James, buddy. So what can people find you at, man? On all platforms, right?
EngageHeadhunters.com. That's it's my recruitment website. It's being changed daily because we're working on different things with it, testing things. So I'm showing that site as like my example of what they're going to have. Because that site, I sold another one about a year and a half ago or so for about $150,000. I just sold it because it was making too many leads and I didn't have the right people in place. And so I realized I had to reset what I was doing so I could make it better. So I sold it off so I could basically rebuild what I'm building now, so I could restructure things. And I've taken about the last year to rebuild it. Now got all this voice AI and SEO and automations. It's going to be a fun time to be alive.
I love it, man. He's a cutting edge. You guys get a chance, reach out to James. Hey, James, thank you so much for coming on the show, brother.
Yeah, my pleasure, guys. Thank you for having me.
Thank you again for service in the country, brother. And I'll talk to you soon, man.
Yeah, appreciate you guys. Thank you.
All right, buddy. Bye. Take care, man. See ya.
Bye-bye.
Amazing. I love
what a great story, isn't it? James is such an innovator too, man. I mean,
and I love hearing about people who come out of these situations and they're not struggling, because so many veterans are. And it's so nice to see someone like successful who dealt with whatever it is that he needed to deal with after he got out or during, and then it's hit it hard. So I love that.
He hit it hard. And one thing I got to say, the idiot story, I can't believe that. That is like something that's like, I wonder if you could do that now. That was 10 years ago. I wonder if now with somebody I throw back. But yeah, what you said earlier, I think everybody that graduates high school should do 1 year in military. It's almost like they do over in like England and stuff like that. Let's do it.
I agree too. Like, especially in Canada, because like, who's going to go fight for Canada? Like, if someone came after us, I would be nervous now. It takes a very certain type of person to join the military now. Whereas like back in the day, you think of wartime, like World War time, you were going. Were you a man and you were older than 15? You were going. It's not like that.
Somebody says, well, I don't want to hold a gun because I don't like guns. Like, no, get your ass out there in the field and you're going to hold a gun. I mean, that's.
Yeah, it definitely gives you a new respect for everything that happened. And yeah, I think it definitely deserves a lot more credit than some people are giving it. The people who are respecting Remembrance Day, Veterans Day, whatever. Amazing.
They sacrificed their life, Becky. That time they're in there. They're not living their life. They're not going home and watching 5 o'clock or a show or something like that. They are out there working. Yeah, they do have some free time, but at the end of the day.
But a lot of people went over there, had to do some horrible things to some people who honestly were just fighting for their country. So they also thought they were good, the good guys, like they were fighting. They lost people, they got injured, and they had to come home and act like that didn't happen and go about their life, be dads, be moms, even be friends, be workers, and just like act like it wasn't a thing.
It's tough. I was on my plane coming back from Phoenix and I had a gentleman, he's like in his 70s. He was in the golf and all that stuff. And he's got PTSD, and he was taking medication and water, and he was. I'm gonna tell you what. He just lost it on a plane. He's like, he pulled out his teeth, his false teeth, and said, I don't give a shit anymore. I just don't care about life. Like, he was comical, but it was like, he said, I've seen 6 people die, get shot in different wars. So that stuff, you just don't get over that. You have nights. I couldn't even imagine that. And then a day you just come back and they say, well, here's what you get, and go find a real job. How do you cope with that when you see shootings after shootings again? And then you're getting shot yourself. You might die. I mean,
exactly.
Tough.
I remember I worked at a golf course when I was, I don't know, 19, 20 maybe. And there was a lot of British people right near where I worked in Canada. There was like a British military base nearby. And so I met this guy that I connected with, and he was pretty torn up. You could tell. And I'm like, we were drinking. So I like got it out of him. But basically he was overseas, and a child pulled a big gun on him, like 7 years old, and he had to shoot him. He had to shoot him. And he was so torn up over it because he goes, I have a 7-year-old at home. And it's like, you don't come back from that. But
what do? You close your eyes and hit the trigger? No, you don't. You see the visual in your head. It's tough.
I know. And it's traumatic. And like I said, we just are so thankful for what people have done for their service. And I think that they definitely deserve way more.
If you guys are out there today and you see anybody that out there, it's military, I don't care. Just go up to him, give him a hug. Give him a hug and say, I love you, man. And that's what we got to do. I mean, we're trying to unite this country anyway. So at the end of the day, this is a perfect way to do it. Start today and every day. You see somebody, it's out there. I don't care what age they are. If they served, just give them a hug and say, I love you.
Totally.
All right.
Well, let's get into it. Veterans Day celebrations today. You've got a little list here.
Yeah, I had a little list there. So there's so many celebrations going on besides the parades and the restaurants. That is one of the biggest things right now that we talked about a little bit in the opening. But the restaurants. Okay, so I got to tell you, my dad, he's all watching, but he's probably out there. He and my mom, they go to like 40 different places today. They get Dairy Queen from you get a free Blizzard from Dairy Queen. You get free coffee from Dunkin', Starbucks, and they just bring it home and put in the refrigerator. They can't.
Starbucks too?
What?
Starbucks too?
Yes, Starbucks does too. Yep.
I'm shocked
most
by that.
places, buffets, if you go to, I need a buffets, they give it to you. If you're a veteran, you show your card, and sometimes they don't. You have a veteran's hat on. They just respect that. And I love this, Becky. It's got bigger and bigger every year. That restaurants used to give like 10% off, 20. Like, these are veterans. Give them a free meal, for goodness sake.
Literally. It's one day a year.
And a lot of the towns around here on Saturday had like a pancake and breakfast for the military, and then the politicians would speak, and they would bring, I went to one a couple years ago, and there was like 500 people there. Of all ages, sitting there eating, talking, and then the politicians came up and did a couple speeches and stuff like that. So, but it was great. It was all catered and it was all free. So, we do a lot for the veterans. This is a big day to like just support them, be proud of your country, wave that flag, and say, I love USA.
Do you guys do a minute of silence at 11 o'clock? Is that a thing?
I do not know. I'll be honest with you, I don't know about that. I heard it before, but
we do it here. Like 11 o'clock, if you were in school, or like last year at this time, I was at my kid's soccer game. They literally stopped the game and they said it's a minute of silence.
I know in school, I don't think they do, because we don't do a moment of silence at all because of the prayer and everything, which I'm against it. Like they don't like the bow heads in America schools.
Right. Oh, funny you say that. So in Canada this year, the NDP government, that's like kind of, it's left leaning, but it's like socialist sort of, they have now decided that there will not be a prayer at the veterans celebration here. There will be a spiritual reflection only.
Because, here we go again. So we're doing this just like Halloween. They don't call it Halloween. They call it like the Spirit Parade now, or whatever like that, or Fall Festival.
But Halloween isn't a Christian holiday or anything. It's like calling Christmas like Tree Day.
A lot of people do the Xmas instead, which I'm just spell it out.
I used to get in trouble as a kid for saying Xmas because my mom's like, they're trying to take Christ out of Christmas. You leave it in there.
Well, sometimes you do. I say Xmas sometimes, but it's like, whatever.
I don't say it, I'll write it, but
wild. But that's crazy. You got the military and stuff like that. This is where I'm going to tell you straight up like this. I'm not talking about religion, but this is where you start taking stuff out that we've done for years. If you want to participate in it, just keep your head up, right?
For sure. There's a lot of things that go on in society that I don't agree with. and it's just become mainstream now. But like, I shut up and I deal with it because I'm a human being and I can make my own decisions, you know?
And that's what James just summed about. Everybody's entitled stuff now. It's like,
Yeah.
well, I don't like to do it, so you can't do it. No, this is what we're going to do.
Well,
And
I mean, I would think that back in, well, let's go back like World War time, whatever, like a lot of these people serving, I guess men back then, like religion might have been one of the only things they could have held on to. You know, it's like that faith to like get them through those hard days or whatever. It's like, I just don't think in countries that are built on a certain thing, it should be taken out.
No, because you know what I tell people about, it's belief. It's about being a good person. Christianity and anything in religion is about believing. And it doesn't have to be, it could be, I mean, there's a million of them. You could believe in one God, two gods, a million gods, you could be Buddha, it doesn't matter. But they all have a belief. That's hope to live a good life. That's what it's about.
Be a better
People
person.
don't get that. They think it's all about, you're just going there and holding up a Bible and trying to preach to people. No, that's not what it's about.
Right, judging, yeah.
It's fellowship. I'll keep it one word, fellowship.
Yes. Ron's probably behind the scenes.
Ron's probably like, oh boy, what are we doing here?
Talk religion. All right, well, let's talk politics now. No, just kidding. Oh, we've zoomed in.
Oh, what's he doing? Zooming in on us. Oh, put us back out, Ron. Now, I command. Where's that button at, Becky? Oh, see how this goes?
What is he doing? Ron, what are you doing?
I don't know what's Ronnie's doing right now, but maybe he's messing with us. Okay.
Well, I'm going to back it up here. Okay, let's talk here the difference between Remembrance Day, Veterans Day, Armistice Day, and Memorial Day. Yeah. So I didn't know that these were all different things. Like we call it Remembrance Day here in Canada. Okay. You guys call it Veterans Day. So I wanted to figure out what the difference was. And it's a very quick, super quick topic. Veterans Day is a U.S. federal holiday. It usually falls on November 11th. So it could be a different day. Is that accurate?
It's a different day. Yeah, it's always on November 1st, I believe. Well, no, November 1st is November 11th.
Yes.
It's always November 11th, no matter what day, Saturday, Sunday, whatever.
Okay. So it says if it falls on a weekend, the holiday will be designated as either the preceding Friday or the succeeding Monday. November 11th is significant because it marks the day when the armed forces ceased fighting in World War I at exactly 11 a.m. on the 11th of November, the 11th hour of the 11th day of the 11th month. The armistice took effect. Veterans Day recognizes all veterans who served the nation of all wars, living or dead. Amazing. Remembrance Day, like in Canada, is also Memorial Day that marks the end of hostilities during World War I. Is generally observed in Commonwealth member states, so us, England, whatever, to honor the member of the armed forces who died during military service. In Canada Day, it is a federal statutory holiday. So like, do you get, if you worked for a company, like would you get today off?
No, only federal. So like no banks are open. The post office don't deliver mail, which they don't deliver mail on time anyway, so it doesn't matter. But
right. Okay. Yeah, it's a stat holiday.
No, like my friends in New York, they're working today. So any private company, yeah. But if it's a federal, like FBI and all that stuff, they're off today.
Right. Interesting. Crime sleeps, I guess, on this day. Yeah, we have it off. Anyone who works has it off today. This day is also informally known as Poppy Day, as noted at my pictures
in the back. Mary Poppins, go ahead.
Red poppies have long been used to symbolize those who have lost their lives in wars and conflicts. This is because poppies are the flowers which grew in the battlefields after World War I. This was immortalized in the famous poem In Flanders Fields. I think that's a Canadian poem, but we all wear poppies on our jackets. Usually starting in October till now.
My grandma did that before. She did it. It's funny you say that. She did it when she go to church. She'd have like a little poppy on her. Yeah.
Interesting.
I didn't even know what it was. I didn't know what it was. I was like, okay.
My jacket, but yeah, I have one as well. You just give like a donation. A lot of stores will just have a box.
Yes, they used to do that. I don't think they do that anymore with the donations, but they used to pass them out. You get a poppy for $1 or something like that.
Right. Here's Ron ruining this moment, saying something else comes from poppies. Yes, it's opium.
Ron, you're always twisted to the narcotic side, the dark side of Ron.
Does Ron have a problem? Do we need an intervention? Okay.
I don't know. Armistice Day. Right. Should we do the next 20 minutes intervention with Ron?
Yeah, right. I'm here because I care about you, but I cannot let you treat me like this anymore. Right. Okay, Armistice Day is simply another name for Remembrance Day. At this point, Veterans Day is also called Armistice Day in the States. During World War II, many countries changed the name of this memorial. The Commonwealth countries adopted Remembrance Day, while the U.S. named it Veterans Day. In 1954, the 83rd U.S. Congress amended the Act of 1398 to change the name of the celebration. And the Memorial Day, as you know, is in May. It's a U.S. holiday celebrated during the last Monday of May. It honors those who have died during military service. It's a completely distinct holiday from Veterans Day, which honors all who have served in the military. Although to me, it sounds a lot like Veterans Day, but I love it. You guys have 2 holidays to celebrate.
Yes, Memorial Day is
I love
more of going to the cemetery, putting flowers on the military graves and all that good stuff. It's also the official kickoff, unofficial kickoff of summer, Memorial Day. We celebrate after you go to the beach and all that stuff too.
And is that a stat holiday as well? Like, does everyone have that day off?
Day, you know what? It is a holiday. Yeah, it is. It's a federal holiday. And some companies give it off or not. You know, it depends. But most are off. Yeah, no, you know what? Memorial Day, Memorial Day is bigger than Veterans Day when it comes to like off. Because everybody's off Memorial Day. Yeah, that's the day.
Right. Yeah, you hear more about Memorial Day weekend than Veterans
But it's more, I hate to say it, but it's more for going off, like people go on vacation. That's their weekend starts vacation.
That's right. We have one the week prior. It's usually the 3rd weekend of May. It's called, I actually don't even know, Victoria Day maybe? It's probably some sort of British monarchy, but we call it May Long.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, are you going away for May Long? Yeah. That's how.
Yeah, okay, so real quick, for Christmas, do you guys put the wreaths on like the military? Like we go and we call it wreaths across America, and we actually put wreaths on everybody, like the military, all the federal, cemeteries. Yeah, it's big. Everybody gets a wreath. Everybody gets a wreath. There's nobody forgotten.
That.
Yes, and volunteers like us, there'll be like 200 at each cemetery, and we all put one on.
See, here's the thing: is that Canada, and I don't mean its inhabitants, but like its leadership. Its leadership is very conscious of offending newcomers to Canada, I would say, or people who find the war offensive or guns offensive or whatever. So this, our leaders aren't going to do anything out of their way, minus than our ceremony on November 11th. It's actually pathetic, but it's not a political show. I'm not allowed to talk politics.
Good old Canada.
Good old Canada. I know. This is why, like, if you just want to sponsor me, I'll just come there. I'd like to go to South Dakota. It seems like nothing goes wrong in South Dakota, so I'd like to just live there.
Or West Virginia. I'm going to let you know. West Virginia is great.
West Virginia. Yeah, okay.
On little country roads, you come down here, everything, this is whatever.
Is that where you live, West Virginia?
Right on the state line, yeah.
Okay. Why did I think you lived in
Pennsylvania? I can look out my window to see Pennsylvania mountains. Yeah, I grew up in Pennsylvania. I grew up in Pittsburgh.
Oh, okay, that's what it is. Yeah. Okay, interesting. Oh, Ronnie almost.
Wow! Come on down, country man. We'll get you side by side.
You know what? I just need to do like a states road trip. I want to hit up every state. That's what I need to do. I need like.
The thing about West Virginia, the economy doesn't go up or down. It's like one of the poorest states in the country. It's like number 48. So it never goes up and down. But you know what?
Really
people know how to stretch their money out here. You know that. It's like pretty cool.
You'd have to. You're just trading corn and stuff.
But I live at WVU, like right in WVU territory. So I'm in a college campus. So it's like, it's like 60,000 out of control. Yeah.
That's cool. Yeah, no, I think South Dakota is where it's at. My friend and I have decided, like, what goes on in South Dakota? Nothing at all.
No. You get a job on the ranch, like a rancher. There you go. Work on the ranch.
Anyways, yes, that is the difference between all of those holidays for me. It's also my topic. This is all over the place today. Thinking like, what do we have next? So as we know, people are celebrating today. People have the day off. I'm guessing, as with any holiday, drinking comes with it, right? You want to celebrate with a couple beers or something.
Mm-hmm.
So
military beers.
Right. I have a list, like the green beers on St. Patty's Day.
Yeah.
Like red beers.
Can I tell you about green beers really quick? When you drink green beers, that green dye stays in your system.
Yes, it does.
My friends didn't know that. They call them up and they're like, can I say it? They're like, dude, I'm peeing green. Something's wrong with me. And I kind of like said, you better go get checked. Meanwhile, I knew what it was like, and they were all worried. The rest of the night, they didn't drink. They messed up their whole night. I did because
oh my gosh,
I am. It's like, dude, do you realize that food coloring goes through your system?
Yeah,
it's not gonna your body's not gonna take that food coloring out.
No, it's true.
Sorry, that was just a dumb moment from my friends in low places. But go ahead.
I love it. That's hilarious. Anyway, I have this topic here about the best foods to eat before drinking alcohol.
Ooh.
I know. I thought this was so interesting. It's saying like taking a few precautions before a night of drinking, it helps to minimize the damage. In fact, picking the right foods before you indulge in alcoholic beverage or two can control your hunger, balance electrolytes, decrease some of the adverse effects associated with alcohol. As we know, alcohol is probably the worst thing for you. I enjoy a drink or two here or there, but it is terrible for you. So,
Oh yeah.
the first one on the list is salmon. Isn't that interesting? I love salmon. So, like, if I went out for a nice
Wow.
salmon dinner and then went out drinking, okay. But it's high in omega-3 fatty acids.
Yes.
It also has tons of protein in it. It helps to reduce inflammation into the brain. And it also helps to just slow down the absorption of alcohol. So, I mean, if you're looking to get drunk, maybe salmon's not it for you, but
3 times a week I eat it, Becky.
oh, it's so good. I mean, and you're
Big
near
slab,
water.
the fresh
So
one. Oh my God, I cut it down. Love it.
that sounds awesome. Eggs is another one, super nutritious. I mean, they were
Wow.
demonized for so long for no reason, but they're super high in protein when you have a few of them. It can help slow the emptying of your stomach and delay alcohol absorption, which is great. And since protein is such a filling macronutrient, it keeps you fuller for longer, which this is funny how it says it reduces your risk of alcohol-induced food binges at the end of the night. I mean, I love going to McDonald's at the end of the night
Oh
or
yeah. I
going
don't
and
care what you are.
eating
Time
at
out. When you
Denny's.
drink, you're gonna get munchies. There's no way.
Yeah.
I don't care how much you ate
Yeah.
before, pasta or whatever. So I
Yeah.
gotta ask you real quick.
Yes.
Is bread on there? Please tell me bread, because that's a theory, but probably not.
Oats. I don't know. I haven't gone through the list. Honestly, I was leaving it a
Oats?
surprise. So we'll see.
Wow. Because they always said bread. You know that. Eat bread before you go out. It doesn't
Right.
work.
It absorbs in your
Hell
stomach. I
no.
remember it was my 18th birthday, and where I live, 18 is the legal drinking age. And I went to a bar, and the bartender was like, let's get you something to coat your stomach before this night. So he gave me this like eggnoggy, creamy shot. And
Oh
then I started
God.
putting stuff in it. I'm thinking, like, that's probably just cottage cheese in my
No,
stomach.
that will put me in the bathroom the rest of the night. Come on.
Well, it didn't, but yeah, the next one on the list is bananas because they're packed with fiber and potassium, and so it just helps control your blood sugars and it slows absorption into your body. And it also, because it's full of potassium, it helps electrolyte balance. Oats are a great source of fiber and protein. It supports feeling full. A lot of this seems to be like it just makes you full, so then you don't want to go crazy on it. I mean, you know what it's like drinking a bunch after a full belly. Like
But
it's not.
But if you eat all this, who wants to go out? I want to take a nap. I don't want to go out.
Yeah, literally.
You eat oatmeal. I'm like ready for a nap. See you
It
guys.
says that oats are packed with magnesium, selenium, iron, and I mean, that's good for your liver health. So it helps protect your liver through it. Yeah, Ron's saying that's why it works.
Yeah,
Exactly.
just stay at home, huh?
Greek yogurt because it's full of fat, protein, and carbs, and it helps keep you full all night, and again prevents those cravings.
Yogurt and beer, yuck. Ugh.
Chia, I know, and again, cottage cheese in your stomach.
Oh God.
Chia seeds are full of fiber and protein as well as manganese, magnesium, phosphorus, and calcium. They're rich in antioxidants, which prevent cell damage. I like that one. Protect your liver. I like chia pudding anyway. You mix it with some coconut milk. It's delicious.
Yeah.
Sweet potatoes. I'll just whip through them here. Sweet potatoes, berries, asparagus, avocado, grapefruit, quinoa, melons, beets, trail mix, so like nuts. And that's it on their list. So
Meanwhile,
no bread.
it's not like there's no
bread.
Cheetos on there, no potato chips, really.
No.
The junk that we always
Hot
put our
dogs.
hands in, you know?
Yes, like hot dogs. If there's a hot dog stand outside of a bar, you know I'm getting a hot dog. I'm filling it with sauerkraut,
Hot
with
dogs are
probiotic
bananas.
health. Yeah.
Anything with sodium, like, isn't it? Like chips and salsa, I can tear that shit up like when you're
Oh,
Yeah.
I can eat chips and salsa every day. I love it.
Yes. I don't like sweets. Do you like sweets when you're drinking? I don't want a brownie or nothing. That's just like
I do. I want all of the things when I'm drinking. Anything,
want
give it
salt.
to me. I want
Anything
pizza.
salt.
I want a doner. I want wings. It doesn't matter. I want them all. Okay. So the next topic is also my topic here. Let me get into it. Normally I have a little bit of time in between to bring up my list and stuff, but okay. You're going to like this. This is called the heinous things that Diddy has done or is doing or is accused
Oh
of
boy,
doing.
here we are. Oh, Diddy. Go ahead.
Yeah, you missed a lot of Diddy talks over the last
Little
month
Diddy
here.
do, little Diddy do.
Little
Here we
Diddy.
go.
The heinous P. Diddy things. So, are you ready for this? And I will give a what's the word? Like an advisory, like a disclaimer. It gets weird and it gets pretty dark. So if you're like offended easily or whatever, don't listen.
Just put it on mute.
Yeah, that's right. So Diddy's former dancer, her name is Adria English. She came out and she's spilling some lofty allegations. Okay, she is spilling the tea when it comes to Diddy.
Oh, yeah.
Now they have yet to be substantiated. These are just allegations that need to still be verified. However, she is likely, and I don't know why you would come out doing these allegations and not testify, but she's likely to testify in the case. Now, let's talk after the list. Give me your opinions on it, whether you think it's legit or not.
Oh, I will.
So she was a go-go dancer for Diddy, and she would be stationed at certain checkpoints at his parties. Okay, so she'd be like in important areas with important people at parties. She claims that he used her to set people up for blackmail. So that's very similar to like, Epstein's video cameras everywhere for blackmail. She claims that she was used to set people up. So the people that come to the party, she would hear stuff, do stuff, whatever, be in a precarious position so that they could blackmail people. Seems weird to me, but I mean, I guess if you're going to go down for doing bad stuff, you're going to take everyone down with you.
Hell yeah.
It's actually kind of smart. This is so gross. On one occasion, he refused to let another dancer go to the bathroom. A young dancer is what it said. He refused to let her go to the bathroom while she was up performing. And she went number 2 right on the stage.
Oh, come on.
Yeah, because she couldn't. Apparently, Denzel Washington was in attendance at this party, and he was so disgusted that he stormed out.
Dude, you know what that would stink like? Come on. And Pete Diddy usually has white furniture. He had all that. He's all about that.
Right. White clothes, white furniture.
Oh,
yeah. Too. Yeah, okay.
There's a turd on the floor. Turn it up. It's a new hit single. Turn it up.
I don't know it. It says that Diddy and other rapper Nelly, remember Nelly?
Oh, Country Grammar.
Yes, Country Grammar.
Cocoa Puffs?
Apparently, they had a threesome with an unnamed underaged girl. Okay, that's
so they were sword fighting, little sword fighting?
Yeah, sword fight with an adult.
May the force be with you. Which one's Darth Vader? I'm just joking. God, are we going down the rabbit hole now?
They're both on the dark side, I think. Okay, this is a weird one. Photos were leaked of Diddy eating fruit at a secret party off of a woman. That woman was actually a 14-year-old girl. Now, I have a 14-year-old girl.
Where's he getting these girls from, Becky? Are these like international girls from, like, are these American girls, or we don't know?
We don't know. She was unnamed, probably because she's underage.
There's a parent involved here somewhere.
The trafficking that goes on locally in North America is wild.
Yeah, that should be a subject. Yes.
Again, we're going back to politics a little bit here. People freaked out when Trump tried to build a wall, and like when you're looking at it as like a human rights thing, yeah, that's a little weird. But when you think of it as like, hey, we're trying to stop people being trafficked, maybe it's
100%. And okay, so we're not even going down this rabbit hole, but I'm going to tell you, my friends that are Border Patrol agents, I have like 10 of them from Penn State. They tell me that half the people that come across, the little kids, are not even with their family members. That's not, they just say it's their kid because they get across. It's when they say they're breaking up families, 80% aren't even families. These are people they pick up to get across the state borderline, and these are ones they're using for money. And you know why they traffic it? Did you ever see a special on it? You sell drugs, you sell it one time. You can use that kid for 8 years. It's like 200 miles on that kid, and that's sad to say. It's effed up. That's a subject that's really sore. It's like, dude, and it's all these celebrities with money. Yeah. These kook jobs, these kooks, I'm going to call them.
I've been down the rabbit hole for many years now. And so there have been several pages that I've come across, or people with allegations saying that they've been trafficked to people in high places. But like, honestly, like if 2020 had never happened, like if COVID had never happened, I think a lot of the world would still be in the dark. But
like that did bring us out. You're right.
It really opened a lot of people's eyes. Number one, we had a lot of time to do some research. Number two, it's this like people kept being like, this kind of feels like they're lying to us. And like, what else are they lying to us about? So
they could do the research and all that stuff. You know what's wrong about these? He calls them rich pigs. At the end of the day, they are rich pigs. Yeah. You know what? They all want to cover up. I didn't do it. Get them out there, chop it off, and let's keep it real. That's what it's about. All these rich people are like, I didn't do it. And I'm going to tell you what, I'll make a prediction. P. Diddy might not even go to court because they might put something in his food. I heard this, and he's not even eating food.
Oh yeah, he's getting
they're trying to knock him off big time because he's not like Epstein. He's going to squill. Epstein, I don't care what they say about that. Come on, he hung himself. No. There was too many big people on Fantasy Island. We know that's another one. It's like,
I think that, whatever's going on with Diddy, like he's just the face of this, but it doesn't mean that there's not.
It's all in the music business. It's movie stars, but the music business, all them old cats, RCA and all them Sony, them 80-year-old guys, they used every boy and girl. If you want to get a record deal, you got to do pleasure. And it's bullshit. Justin Bieber's a victim, they say.
I know. He's on the list here.
Usher too, right? I think Usher is too.
Yeah. Here's another one. An underage girl abused by Diddy birthed 2 of his children, which he had to deliver or help deliver in his residence because obviously you're not bringing your 14-year-old lover to the hospital. Okay, and remember, these are allegations from one of his insider.
Where did he have time for all this? Like, he's doing these albums and stuff like this. I mean, where does he have time to do all these parties like all the time? Aren't you like creating albums, or is somebody else doing? Is he even singing on this shit, or is somebody else singing?
I doubt it.
It could be like a Milli Vanilli scandal too. He right. Songs.
That's right. Maybe. Diddy, this one sounds so gross. I'm sorry for anyone listening. Diddy supposedly made J-Lo, Jennifer Lopez, stick a bottle into the private parts of an 11-year-old girl.
Oh my! And J-Lo did it? Come on.
Like violate it. Yeah.
Come on, Jenny on the block.
Here's the thing. People are like, oh, J-Lo was a victim. This person was a victim.
No. She knew what was going on. You know what, J-Lo? Don't play the victim role. You knew what was going on the whole time. And I'm going to tell you straight up, I'm going to throw this out there. It's a conspiracy thing. It is what it is. But the Tupac and all that stuff that went down with Biggie Smalls, he's involved with that because Biggie was bigger than him. And he would never get bigger than Biggie unless
I was watching a video just before I logged on today saying that he also paid to have Biggie killed his best friend. But I'll get into that.
The Tupac thing, that's I'm gonna say
crazy.
Biggie was the man.
Okay, the Justin Bieber one. His 2 sons, so Diddy's sons, Justin and Christian, ran trains on Justin Bieber when he was tied down and sobbing. That's gross. A young girl who saw this happening, who's actually part of the lawsuit against Diddy, she tried to loosen up the straps, and it says that Diddy slapped her.
How did this all stay quiet all these years?
Because you want to be famous. And at this point, you do some stuff you're ashamed of. If you talk, you're scared of dying. You're scared of losing your career.
And you know what's funny is Justin Bieber, you get the tattoos and all. And people say, when he went crazy for a while, no wonder. If this was true.
You wonder why every Disney star goes a little crazy. Look at Miley, look at Demi Lovato, look at Britney Spears. Like
there's a dark side of Disney, you know that, right? Our brothers work at Disneyland. They don't work anymore. There's a big dark side of Disney nobody knows about. It's not
there's a dark side of Disney, there's a dark side of Nickelodeon, there's a dark side of every child actor, there's a dark side of every adult actor. I mean, Hollywood is a cesspool.
Everybody's got a story.
Yes, definitely. Okay, so this Adria English says that she was also on the Diddy tapes multiple times and as an underage girl, and she was abused by a former president. What president? I don't know. I'm not even going to speculate. I have my ideas just based on other traffic survivors that I follow online who have made some very
Can I sing it? Billy wasn't the kid. Billy the Kid.
Who's that? Oh, but Clinton, yes.
Yeah. It started out there.
Probably. I mean, if you're looking at his interaction with Epstein, but people are saying it's Trump. People are saying it's Obama. I mean, this one girl that I follow said that she was trafficked to Joe Biden many times, like 10 years ago. So, I mean.
Well, the thing is, though, you got to understand, all these politicians have all these $1 million mansions, but they're politicians. They only make $250,000 a year, which is great money. But literally, how do you get a $7 million mansion? It's not a book deal.
If you look at the net worth between when Obama started and when Obama finished.
And they say it's book deals. It ain't book deals. Yeah.
Yeah, maybe. Maybe you're right. And I don't want to blame.
No. I'm joking about that. You don't make money off book deals. Nobody makes money off book deals.
It's not that much. I mean, maybe his wife. I don't know. Anyway. So anyways, that's the list. It's heinous. It's really gross. That's why I titled it Heinous P. Diddy Things. If it's true, I mean, again, I don't want to just put the blame on Diddy because Diddy is one of many who are involved.
Well, that's what's going to happen. Is it's not about the victims. We want them all to be talk about this and hopefully get therapy. But
Yeah.
we need P. Diddy to come out with the old cats.
Yeah.
I'm gonna say the old cats,
The
because P.
list.
Diddy wasn't the first one to create this. This was way before P. Diddy.
No.
P. Diddy's a victim too,
Oh,
but
yeah.
he just created this monster because they
Mhm.
used him because he didn't know no better, and he thought they all loved him, but they used him as a scapegoat.
Uh-huh. Yeah, and we talked about this on another show, how it's like when you're a celebrity and you're used to getting everything you want, people throw themselves at you, people do everything for you. You get it in your head that you are invincible. So, you know, this video I was watching before I logged on today, it was talking about like how you would think after you did stuff like this, you would go into hiding, and yet he never did. He was always at the forefront. So that makes me think maybe he actually wasn't, like maybe he was doing what everyone else was doing. Like, why would I hide when we're all doing this kind of thing?
I'm just thinking at the end of the day, he was so hyped up where he was like, I'm invincible. I'm going to tell you, I thought
They
that
all think that though.
they all do. I
They
mean,
all do. This is
every
why, like,
Hollywood, every movie star. And I'm going to tell you what, America, you know, we don't going to talk about the election, but they don't give two shits about like people coming out and saying, I support this one. We don't care about Hollywood anymore. Hollywood's got tainted.
old news. I know.
In the music business, people don't give two shits because they all say, well, come to my show and all this, and they flaunt all this stuff around. Meanwhile, Americans don't have no money to go to the show. Like, dude,
the problem is you have,
arrogance.
let's say the young vote now, like I'm just basing this off of like Taylor Swift, for example, who, you know, endorsed one side. And she has a very blind following of people who do what she says. They're literally like crying at her concerts. They're literally spending thousands of dollars to travel around to go to her concerts, on costumes, on everything they do is Taylor Swift. So if Taylor Swift says, hey, vote for this candidate, they're going to go do it because they're blindly following. It's literally like they're under a spell. And so I just think like that is a dangerous vote, is to have any celebrity endorse a candidate. I think is dangerous.
It is. It's out of control. I mean, and then you know what? And who respects an artist anymore? Unless you're somebody I kind of like a lot and I know their history pretty much. But most of these artists, they get all this money and they're flaunting it, you know, and especially rappers, they're calling people inappropriate names, women, and like, you know, it's like, I mean, you call the BIT word and you go, oh, like all that stuff. Like, dude, what's that treating on our young?
It's degrading for sure. The women in rap, like, I mean, those are pretty gross.
Nicki Minaj and what's the other one? Yeah. Meanwhile, did you hear? Is it Cardi B? She got up and spoke, you know, during the election, and she couldn't even speak like on a proper. Like she's looking in front. I'm like, you're a singer, and you don't even know how to speak in front of public. Like, what's going on here? Is that really your songs? Here we go.
Drugs, probably. I don't know.
I mean, you don't understand.
Everything is milli-vanilli.
But you get in front like and trying to do some political stuff to support a you know, somebody, and you're like.
The fact is, like, at the end of the day, I'm not going to trust somebody like Cardi B with, you know, my future in my country, right? Like she doesn't know. And then like with Taylor Swift, like, dude, you've had 47 boyfriends that have all ended sour, and you talk bad about all of them. Like, I don't trust your opinion.
And do you think this one? Okay, so before we wrap it up, we're almost out of here. We're out of time here. But what do you think about her and her man right now? Is it going to last or not? Just give me yay or nay.
I don't think it's a legit relationship. It just makes no sense that at the height of who does he play for? The 49ers? Is that
no, the Chiefs?
The Chiefs. I don't know anything.
Yeah, Kelsey.
The height of the Chiefs' fame, all of a sudden, like, oh, they're winning Super Bowls, oh, they're this, they're all that.
She's buying that part, and he's thinking she's like superstar too. So they're eating each other's ego. Is that what it is?
I think there's handlers for all these celebrities, especially younger. I mean, she's in her mid-30s now, but like, you know what I'm saying, younger Hollywood, younger music. Like, there's handlers, and they put them together. They've ordained this for their gain. It's a publicity stunt, if you ask me. I don't know. It's stupid.
This time next year, we'll see if they're together. We'll see.
They won't be, and there'll be songs about, you know,
not him and the football players and how, you know, he's this a rough, tough
like,
man.
At the end of the day, like Taylor Swift is 3 years younger than I am. What am I? I'm turning 38 soon. We have the same birthday, so she's turning 35 soon. It's like by 35, not saying that I'm, you know, better or whatever. I had 2 kids and was already married. Well, on my second marriage at this point, but like, you know, it's like at some point you're gonna have to just settle down and take responsibility for the nonsense that you've created in your relationships. Surely not every guy that you've dated is the problem.
No, it could be you. Or at your age, I was still going to spring breaks. So at
35, I wish.
Decide where you want to go in life, but just enjoy it. Right. I think, Becky, we're out of time today. Great show. Great seeing you again. Let's salute the veterans one more time. Thank you Veterans,
right.
happy Veterans Day to everybody out
Yes,
there.
happy Remembrance Day, happy Veterans Day. You're amazing, and we respect you so much, and we're so thankful because none of even all this nonsense in Hollywood could exist if you didn't fight for our freedom. So we thank you.
Don't miss tomorrow's show. Look who we got on the show.
Ira and Ron, and then I will be back on Thursday with somebody, and yeah, we'll chat more then. Have a good day, everybody.
See you guys soon. Take care.